What's going on, everybody, and welcome to J Sports Seattle. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the Seahawks. I'm just going to be following up on the preseason game that happened on Saturday. Unfortunately, we lost, but then again, it's a preseason game, so it does not matter. But I wanted to talk about it and talk about some of the takeaways from that preseason game, as well as other news going on. So if you like the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share for more Seahawks and Seattle sports content. And without further ado, let's get on with the video. All right, so 16-15. A lot of these preseason games are low scoring. It's not just the Seahawks preseason games. Like, a majority of preseason games that have happened across week 1 and 2 have been under 20 points. Like, it's rare that you see teams score 20 or more points. Like, the only team that comes to mind that I saw score more than 20 points was the Bears, and they won 27-3 against the the Bengals. But even then, like, that just doesn't happen. But to be fair, they had Caleb Williams in and Roma Dunze, so they had starters in. So that kind of helped. I also heard that the Bears sideline kind of had the scoop on what the Bengals were going to do, but that's something for a different time. But so 16-15, we lost by a last-minute field goal. We were in the lead for a majority of the game. We did give it up a couple times in the fourth quarter before the Titans eventually hit the game-winning field goal. But there are some takeaways. Before we get into those takeaways first, I got to talk about this because this has been going on for days. This happened a few days ago, and I just need to talk about it. So Geno has reportedly approached the Seahawks for a new contract. Not good news for us because he could be, he kind of has leverage in a sense. I mean, we have leverage against each other, considering that we were the only team that was going to give Geno that contract after that year, and now he is our best quarterback. So he could try to spin that against us, like, hey, I broke your single season passing yard record. I'm a 2-time Pro Bowler, comeback player of the year. I led y'all to the playoffs 1 year, almost led it to another. Like, I don't blame him for wanting to ask for a new contract because he has done well for us last year. Like, even though the stats last year might say he's mid, he led the league in game-winning drives. So you throw out all of the stats that he had, the touchdowns, interceptions, QBR, pass rating, whatever. He led the league in game-winning drives. And the number one most important stat for a QB is wins. Winning is a QB stat. I mean, it's just how it is. It is a QB stat, and Geno led 5 game-winning drives. Almost had 6 if Jason Myers didn't miss that field goal in that Rams game. Almost had 6 game-winning drives. Could have had 7 if he didn't miss JSN for that wide-open go-ahead touchdown. But then again, that shoulda, coulda, woulda. But nonetheless, he led the league in game-winning drives, and we finished the season with a 9-8 record, with a positive record because of him. Not because of the defense, obviously, or else we wouldn't have given up the second most rushing yards in the league. So I don't blame him for wanting to do this. But the thing is like, he is on the second year of the contract that he just signed last year. So it's like, I understand that you're looking for a new contract, but we got to understand. We got to see how you look like in the new system first, in the new offensive system, and just with the new coaching staff overall, before we decide we want to extend you. We have him under contract under this year and next year. Well, there's no reason to, and from a Seahawks standpoint, there is no reason for us to extend him because he's under contract. Yes, I understand he probably wants a pay raise because he's getting paid a lot lower than what the other QBs are in the league. Are we getting paid like Kirk Cousins, Baker Mayfield? The difference between those QBs and Geno is those QBs have won a playoff game. Kirk Cousins has won a playoff game. Baker Mayfield has won a playoff game. Geno Smith has not won a playoff game. So that could be another reason why we're not willing to give a contract on top of we haven't seen him in the system yet because he has not won us a playoff game. And, that holds merit. because I mean it is written into his incentives that if we make the playoffs, win, I think like advance to the divisional or championship round, he gets extra incentives. So it's already written into his contract that he's going to get bonuses if he brings us far. Because his base salary is $25 million a year, but it can go up to $35 million if he meets all those incentives, which he didn't last year. Maybe he met one of them, like maybe a winning record, but like this year he's going to have to earn it. Like sorry, Gino. You have been you have done well for us the past couple of years, but this year you're going to need to show that you do deserve a $35 million, $40 million a year contract, because last year you were mid, and it wasn't all your fault. The team was mid around you, like the O-line and the play calling, but we just got to see how you perform this year. That's it, Gino. Like, and I think we will re-sign him at some point this season. We are going to re-sign him, either if it's halfway through the season or the season's end, depending on how Gino does. Like if Gino lights it up again, like he did in 2022, no doubt we're going to extend him before the season's over. But like I said, we just got to see how this goes, because new system. We don't want to do what Denver did and then just sign Gino to a big contract under a new coaching staff, and then he just craps the bed, and now we're stuck with a QB for like 4 more years, and he's getting paid $40 million a year. We don't need that. So the smart thinking on John's part, because we do not want to be in like we do not want to do what Denver did. So but moving on, let's get away into the takeaways. So 3 takeaways from the Seahawks preseason loss. So there is a clear separation between McIntosh and Holani. Excuse me. Holani did show some flashes in that first preseason game, but as you see right here, you only had 2 carries for 3 yards, and McIntosh had 8 carries for 46. So that should be an indicator of where Ryan Grubb is and the coaching staff is leaning on who they're going to have for that third running back spot. Although I did see that what Holani does have on McIntosh is that he's better in pass blocking. Apparently McIntosh has struggled in pass blocking a bit, but that's okay, because you can build that up. He's in his second year. He can put on more muscle. I wouldn't worry about that, especially if you have Holani as RB4. I don't see any reason why we don't keep both Kenny McIntosh and Holani. So I think both of those two will be on the roster. But this is interesting. I didn't actually not see this until after the game was over. Mike McDonald did not call the defensive play calls in that game on Saturday. It was Aiden Durd in the first half, and then in the second half it was Carl Scott. And in the first half, the defense was stellar. I mean, you only allowed seven points at halftime. But in the second half, Carl Scott, although he is a leftover product of Pete Carroll, so he might be doing a lot of what Pete Carroll was doing before by calling those plays, which is, I kind of noticed it too. As noticed in the second half, we would get gashed a lot more and more over the middle and like in the passing game, which was the issues that we had last year under Pete. But that just goes to show that Mike McDonald will call the defensive plays in the regular season. I don't know if he's going to call the defensive plays in the third preseason game or if he'll let his coordinators do it, but we all know that he will be calling the plays, the defensive plays in the regular season, McDonald. So, but it is a good opportunity for Durd and Scott, because it gets them to learn the playbook more, and it gets them to add their own plays to it as well and try to mix it up. This is what the preseason's for, and then they can work on that heading into the regular season, like in practice, and Aiden Durd or Carl Scott could bring up their own ideas to Mike McDonald, and Mike McDonald could say yay or say nay. So that's really great to see that McDonald's letting his coordinators call that. Great opportunity for those guys. Great job. Yeah, I mean, they did do a good job. I mean, 9 points allowed in the second half, even though granted it is preseason and you're playing third and fourth stringers, but the playing field is even. Like, both teams are playing third and fourth strings and fifth strings. So, 9 points, not bad. That's all I gotta say. Some bad news. We do have a bit of injuries at our tight end position. The trio of tight ends, actually, which isn't good. Our projected starters, and Noah Fant and Farrell Brown. I already talked about Farrell Brown. He had that bad ankle injury, And from what I've seen, it's looking to only be a sprain, which is good. And if that's the case, then he's trying to battle back to be back week 1. And then we don't know much about Westover or Fant. It's just another hamstring injury. Just like I said, just like with Draymond Jones, you just can't risk it. I think there's another player that's been out with. Jerome Baker, he's out with a hamstring injury. So a lot of our players are battling some hamstring injuries, and I don't know if that has something to do with conditioning, because it's not just a certain group. It's players all over. Tight ends getting hamstring injuries, defensive ends getting hamstring injuries, linebackers getting hamstring injuries. Like, I don't know. I feel like we haven't seen that many hamstring injuries in the past before. So I don't know. Maybe it's probably just unfortunate. But A.J. Barner, he did have a catch for 17 yards. I do remember that, and actually I'll probably be showing it later in this video. But we don't know when those guys will come back, so that's the reason why we actually signed these guys. We signed 2 free agent tight ends. We signed Michael Ezek and Devin Garrison. Michael Ezek, he is a 6'5", 245-pounder, wide-out turn tight end. That's nice to see. And then went undrafted in last year's draft. And then we signed him. And then Garrison, we signed him. I think he was undrafted. Garrison is a 2-time AP All-American out of Pittsburgh State who racked up 1,581 receiving yards and 15 touchdowns during his campaign at the NCAA Division II school in Kansas. That's nice. So we're just adding some tight end depth, which is all you can really do when you have injuries like that. So there's that. Moving on to another takeaway is Sam Howell, man. There's back-to-back weeks. I know it's preseason, but it's back-to-back weeks of him performing well and playing a clean game. Outside of that fumble, which I don't really blame him, I blame Stone Forsythe, and I'll show you that player later. Outside of that fumble, though, he played a really, really clean game on Saturday. I saw that he had a passer rating of like 136, which is superb. He was 11 for 14. Let's see if it shows. Yeah, he was 11 for 14, 153 yards and a touchdown, no interceptions. And one of those incompletions was a drop by someone. So really, he should be 12 for 14. So Howell is really showing that he can be something for us. And like I said, I released a video a few months ago saying that Sam Howell can be good. He can be good. He has weapons now. And these guys are just 3rd and 4th stringers. And maybe a 2nd stringer thrown in there. Now it's not JSN he's throwing to. It's not Lockett or DK. It's 2nd and 3rd stringers and 4th stringers he's throwing out there, and he's lighting it up. So I want to and it's with the 2nd string O line. So and you can see when he has protection, this guy can throw, and he's been getting more protection. It looks like he's more comfortable in the pocket compared to when he was in Washington. Really, really good to see. And even Mike Macdonald couldn't even shy away from, he couldn't even, because you know how Mike Macdonald has been staying coy a lot and, trying to in a sense, downplay people's performances. But I know deep down he's like, congratulations. Like, that's what he did with Tariq Woolen in practice. Like, hey, you're doing a good job, but can you get better? Like, even he was like, I thought Sam was really sharp. Like, he even had to say, hey, he was really good. He said, I thought we moved the ball. I thought he made smart decisions. We were in and out of the huddle, which I felt like we could improve that in the second half. In the second half, that's when PJ Walker was in, not Sam. So, but he was pleased. Like, that's really good. I mean, so far from what we've heard from McDonald, he's very critical on his players. So when you hear him talk about how well someone has done, that means he did a good job, and he did do a good job. So, really, really good to see. He could be the future. I mean, are we gonna? Is 2 preseason games gonna dictate that? Who knows? But good so far. He has had good showings in back-to-back weeks. So, and I will show that in this video later in the video. But I'm gonna move on to the 53-man roster projections. This is from Corbin K. Smith on Seattle Seahawks SI. So shout out to them, and shout out to Corbin. Excuse me. So I'm just gonna get right into it. Geno Smith, Sam Howell. This should be pretty clear cut and dry. Practice squad will probably be PJ Walker, but we'll see. We could go for a younger person just so we could have like some project guy that we can develop in practice. And then running backs, like I said, we'll have K9 as the starter, Zach Charbonnet, Alani, and then McIntosh. And then practice squad will be Kobe Lewis. This is all pretty standard. This all makes sense. And then a receiver, this is all pretty standard. DK, Tyler, and JSN starters. We all figured as much. Backups, Jake Bobo, Laviska Shenault, and Derek Young. Jake Bobo solidified at wide receiver 4 makes a lot of sense. Same with Shenault, he's very shifty, and he's going to be used in the I feel like he'll bounce between receiver 5 and either receiver 5 or receiver 6 and kick returning duties. And then Derek Young. Although I think Aesop Winston, he might have a chance to catapult one of these guys and take the 5th or 6th spot, because he has had a absolutely outstanding preseason showing so far. And if he has a really good preseason showing in Saturday's game against the Browns, I really wouldn't be surprised if he made the roster as a backup over Derek Young or Laviska Shenault. And then Cody White. Either way, all these guys will make the practice squad. But that all makes sense. Tight end, this should make sense. Noah Fant, A.J. Barner, Brady Russell, that is all straightforward. I thought A.J. Barner may or may not make the practice squad, but with the injuries going on to Westover and Farrow and Fant, he's probably going to make the roster. I think his chance of making a roster spot is really, really safe. Same with Brady Russell. And then, I think Tyler Mabry and Jack Westover will get the practice squad, and this is projected he could land on IR, Farrell Brown, if it's a bad injury, but I will show it later. Farrell did say that there is a chance that he will try to be back week 1. Then offensive line, this is pretty straightforward. Charles Cross, yes. Laken Tomlinson, yes. At left guard, Connor Williams at center, yes, and Anthony Bradford, yes, because I wanted us to start Anthony Bradford going into this season. I'm glad that we are making that change, because I think he has upside. And then Abraham Lucas, assuming he will be healthy by the time week 1 rolls around. And then backups, George Fant. That could change very quickly if Abraham Lucas isn't ready to go and gets put on IR. George Fant could be brought up as a starter. Christian Haynes, backup. Olu backup. McClendon Curtis backup. I wouldn't be surprised if Christian Haynes also somehow makes a roster spot. But him and Anthony Bradford have battled hard for that right guard spot, so really good to see. And then practice squad will be Mike Jarrell, Satawa Lamea, and then Max Percher. But Max Percher joining the practice squad doesn't count against the 16-man limit, since he is an international pathway player, which is good to see. And then defensive line, this is pretty straightforward as well. Leonard Williams, Jonathan Hankins, and then Jaron Reed. Makes sense. Backups, Byron Murphy, Mike Morris, Miles Adams. All make sense. Anyone could probably predict that. Practice squad, Devere Levelston. I've never heard of him, but welcome aboard if you make it. Then Edge or OLB. This is pretty straightforward. Starters will be Nwosu and Jones. Although if Jones is not ready, I wouldn't be surprised if Boye Mafe or Derek Hall decide to make that bump up, because both of them have had strong preseason showings, and Boye Mafe is picking right up where he left off last year. And then Derek Hall, he's also had a good preseason showing as well, and is showing why we picked him in the 2nd round. And then practice squad will have Jamie Sheriff and then Nelson Caesar. Cornerback starters are straightforward. Devin Witherspoon, Rick Woolen makes sense. Backups also pretty straightforward. Trey Brown, Mike Jackson, Artie Burns, Nehemiah Pritchett, D. Williams, and then practice squad will be DJ James and Carlton Johnson. There's a chance that both of these guys will either make the practice squad, or he might just waive them for other players, because they did not have a strong preseason game on Saturday. Both of them got torched. Both of them had bad tackling. But backups same is pretty straightforward. Safety, Julian Love and Rayshawn Jenkins makes sense. And then backups would be Kayvon Wallace and then Kobe Bryant. And then practice squad, Ty Okada. And then PUP list, Jarek Reed. All makes sense. And specialists, Jason Myers, Michael Dixon, and Chris Stoll. There's the projected roster, the projected 53-man roster. It'll be officially released after the 3rd preseason game, sometime before the 1st regular season game. Between that 3rd preseason game and that first regular season game. So We'll know before then. Before I go to Bob Condotta's page, I really want to point this out. One Seahawks vet, Mike McDonald's bonding night in Tennessee, the best NFL event he's had. So this week was Mike McDonald's idea. First, before I go into this, I gotta say, this is what we want to see. This is what we need to see from our rookie head coach, who is the youngest head coach in the league, and he is showing why we picked him and signed him to a 6-year deal. So, leaving training camp in Renton, packing the entire Seahawks operation of 90 players, 23 assistant coaches, dozens of staffers, support and security personnel, 2,000 miles for the team's first joint practices in 33 years. So yeah, that's what happened. That's what we did. Mike McDonald just turned 37 not long ago, because he was 36. I don't know when his birthday is, but according to this, he is now 37. And even after the loss, it was a net positive because they had because of this bonding night, and it left them hungry for more. But just kind of leaves us hungry for more going forward, but net positive. So here's what happened. It was a barbecue dinner that the entire team and support staff went to in downtown Nashville Thursday night. That was the day after the second joint practice. So like the article said earlier, all 90 players, all 23 consistent coaches, and the security and other personnel went to a hotel near the Vanderbilt campus west. They took a short ride from their hotel near the Vanderbilt campus west of downtown Nashville to Martin's barbecue joint. There were games like cornhole, darts, ping pong, and more. And the players feasted. Of course, you gotta feast. But this is what we like to see. People, they all went up. They all did karaoke. Even offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb, 48-year-old, coming out of Kingsley, Iowa, from farmland, out here and rapped. Like, I have not seen this. We're gonna watch it.
Like it. So you won't strike it. I took it to the mic. Whoa! Please add how the G just does it with E. Just imagine a crowd screaming, a girl dreaming, just to get a picture of me and my B-O-Y-Z from the H-O-O-D. S-E-A, down with me. Stronger than Trey Jam. Turn the page and see I'm not a son of a gun. I'm engaged in nothing can avoid this shot because it's hidden. It's so cool. You can keep all this right here. I'm coming off raw into your speaker, making the suckers on the street feel weaker. Most I know not to deal with me. You're a lion. Tell me you can't.
That is so funny. That is amazing. Oh my goodness. That is awesome. And see, that's what you want to see. That is our offensive coordinator right there. Out there just, it sounds like he's drunk. It sounds like he is wasted, which I don't blame him. But if he is, like, you can tell he's kind of slurring his words about. I don't know if he's actually drunk or tipsy or whatever. But even if he is, it just makes it even better because I'm sure these other guys could be hammered or a little wasted or tipsy. That's what you like to see, and that's what makes a team a team. It's not just the identity on the field. It's how you guys bond outside of the field and outside of pads. And you can tell that these guys had an amazing time. I mean, the Seahawks vet, the person that said, let me see. Who was the person that said, I'm going to find it. Because obviously, it could be George Fant. I think it might be George Fant that said it. Yeah. So George Fant, a 32-year-old veteran of 8 previous training camps with 3 different teams and coaching staff, said McDonald's team outing to Martin's the best time he's had in the NFL. So he's been in the league this is going on his 9th year. And George Fant, he's a respected player because he's been in the league. He can do it. He does his job. And he says this is the best time he's had in the NFL. Regardless of how good he is, you got to respect you have to respect the opinion of a veteran, because even if they are not, even if they're not like an Aaron Donald type level player or a Jason Kelsey type level player, if they're still in the league after 9 years, that means they're doing their job and teams want their services. And he brings that veteran presence, and the fact that he said this is the best time he's had in the NFL is a really, really good sign. And then Mike McDonald smiled when he was told that. It was cool just to spend time with one another, the new head coach said. And then even Sam Howell, who I've seen, he's like apparently he's like a pretty media shy and pretty shy person. He even was like, I think it was a great idea to come out here and bring pretty much the whole organization out here. Like he said, I mean, that's basically what they did. You bringing out all the players, all the assistant coaches, all of the, all like the security and other staffing as well. Like that's great. See, we had a great dinner Thursday night, and the guys really got to spend a lot of time together. And I think that's what built a team. And he's right. That is what built a team. Because if like, for example, if you take a look at that Urban Meyer-led team, that guy had no respect for his players at all. And it reflected in their record. They were the worst team in the league. I don't remember. Here, let me see. I think it was the 2022 Jaguars. Like, Urban Meyer was a whore. Like, he was... Okay, it wasn't that year. It might have been 21. I think it was 21. T-Law's rookie year. 3-14. Like, he was fired before the season even ended because of how bad of a coach he was, because of how badly he disrespected his players, and I think there was that one video that went viral of him as well, that did it. And it's just that's what you like to see. So really great to see, and they do stuff like this, and these guys are gonna want to battle for each other with all of their might and all of their hearts, not only for the coaches but for each other, because they all have the same goal: win a Super Bowl. So that's really good to see. Moving on to Bob Condotta. Still got a lot to go on. This video's probably gone on for 20 plus minutes already. This is probably a good chance this video is probably going to be over 30 minutes by the time this video is done. I wouldn't mind doing a two-parter, but I just want to get it all done in one video. But moving on. So here are the snap counts. We'll start with offense. This is the snap counts from offense. So Christian Haynes played 64% of these offensive snaps. That's good to see. Bradford, Curtis, Oluse, Forsyth, Howell. That was all that first half. They played the entire first half. Bobo also played a majority of the snaps. McIntosh. So really great to see from all the players that we expect to make the roster to get all these snaps. So really good to see. But yeah, it was really good. And then moving on to the defense, Miles Adams played 74%. Tyrese Knight played tied second most at 66%. Tyrese Knight has had an amazing preseason showing. First preseason game he balled out, and this last preseason game I think he was graded really, really well in coverage as well. And because he's in place for Baker, who's hurt, and if Baker's not healthy and not ready for week 1, Tyrese Knight will start at weak side linebacker. So a weak side inside linebacker. And then, something interesting, Byron Murphy only had 9 snaps. Same with Mafe, 7 snaps. Like they had a low amount of snaps. That makes me think that their roster spot is solidified, and they've already shown McDonald what they like. They've already shown McDonald that they belong, and they just don't. They're just trying to keep them fresh and not get them hurt. Mafe clearly showed that he belonged in the game. And belongs on the roster. Derek Hall clearly showed he belonged in the game as well. Mike Morris had a good game as well. O'Connell. So that's good to see that a lot of these players that are getting all these snaps, because that most likely they're gonna make the roster, the 53-man if not the practice squad. So that's good to see. And then moving on to the whole Sam Howell thing. Yeah. So let's just go into this real quick and just look at some of the plays that Howell did. First off, let's take a look at this play, because I need to talk about this play right here. So this is the 3rd and 12 where Derek Hall was credited with the sack, but Mafe could have easily had like half a sack as well, or at least like something. So look at what Derek Hall. So Derek Hall, he's lined up on the outside linebacker spot right here, and just look at the whooping he puts on that left tackle. I'll repeat. Like, he does a lot. Like, just look at the whooping he puts on that guy. Pushes him, and then fakes like he's gonna go left and goes right, and then boom, right there at Willis's feet and takes him down. And then at first when I saw this live, I thought Mafe was the one that got the sack, but I looked back and saw it was Hall. But let's look at Mafe. He also had success off the edge. Look at him. Look at him bully the right guard. Look at this. Or the right. Look at the right guard. Absolutely just swim moved him out of existence. Just like, get off me. So like, even if Derek Hall wasn't there, Mafe would have, like, even if Derek Hall didn't get that sack, Mafe would have been there to clean it up. And that's what we like. That's good to see from Mafe, because he is going to be disruptive in that backfield. Add that with Byron Murphy and Leonard Williams Leonard Williams. I was about to say Leonard Fournette. He's a running back and he's not even on the team, and I think he's retired. But Leonard Williams, Jaron Reed, stuff like that. So here is that sack fumble, that strip sack. So look at this is on Stone Forsythe right here, because he absolutely just got pancaked by the defender. Like, come on, man, come on. Stone Forsythe is 6'6", 6'7", and like 320 pounds. You should not. Doesn't matter who. Like, it's okay to be beat in coverage, but there is no reason why you should just get pancaked by a smaller defender like that. Like, he just got shoved to the ground. Like, that's not okay. And that guy got to Howell and stripped the ball. So, that's probably the reason why, Forsythe, he's been lower on the totem pole, because he's the stuff like that. He sometimes struggles with going up against smaller defenders because of his big frame. But I'm gonna move on. So the rest of this is just gonna be Sam Howell analysis. So look at that pocket awareness. So he understands that the pocket's collapsing. Excuse me. He understands that the pocket's collapsing, and that's just great pocket awareness right there. And then this is McIntosh. Like I said, he should make that third one RB3 spot. He should get that RB3 spot. He had back-to-back 10-yard runs. Like, here's the other one right here. Like, oh man, and he's shifty, which is nice, and he can push for extra yardage, which is good. And then I think this might be the touchdown right here. So look at how comfortable he looks, and just look at that. That's just, you could not ask for a more perfect throw from your quarterback. Like, he had time in the pocket. He had time in the pocket. Like, he wasn't initially getting pressured like he was in Washington. And boom, he threw a dime, an absolute dime, dropped down the bucket for East Up Winston. So that's just, that's why I'm saying Sam Howell can be good. You give him protection and he works on his throwing, he can be good. So let's just oh yeah, here we go. Here's another example right here. Look at that. A dart and a dime. Like, protection is good. He has time in the pocket. You see, even Stone Forsythe there held his own. Like, the pocket, very clean. Very, very good to see that he was able to recognize that and didn't panic like he would in Washington. So, very, very good to see from Sam Howell. And then here he got sacked, obviously, but that's because, people got beat. People did get beat. And I think he did step up a little too prematurely. I think the right guard and right tackle had the dude on lock. So there was that. But I think overall it doesn't matter. Sam had an excellent game, and I couldn't be any happier. But going back to this, here are the grades. So East Winston, he was the highest graded offensive player at 90. Sam Howell was the second highest graded player. Anthony Bradford third. So like, even Stone Forsythe, even after that, like even after getting bulldozed, he still had a good grade at 72. You can't really complain at that. Kenny McIntosh, not bad. So really good to see. And then defense, Derek Hall absolutely just lit it up on the field. 86.7 highest graded defender. He's going to make the roster 100% hands down. Boy, Mafe had a good time when he was in for those 7 snaps. Yeah, it's just good to see. Yeah, just look at, oh my goodness, man. Look at this. Just look at the whooping. So this is a tight end that he just absolutely ran over. Boom! Like, dude. That's like that's what Legion of Boom linebackers did. Just ran people over. And like, Derek Hall is going to have a monster year this year. He's going to definitely take a step up. Really, really good to see from him. So yeah. Yeah, here's what Brown had to say about his recovery.
I am really trying to be off of these in less than 24 hours. Some may say it's not possible, but mind over matter. Currently in Austin, Texas. Get my second opinion, then go get some therapy work. Get this healing process started so I can be back out there week 1. That's the goal.
How's it feeling?
Normal foot.
That is.
I got an update. If I'm lying, y'all tell me I'm lying. How did I get in here today?
You're on crutches.
Crutches here. No crutches, baby. Slow and steady.
That's really good to see. So it does look like it was just he bruised his ankle. That looked pretty bad. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Just look at that. So it looks like it was a pretty bad bruise and potentially and sprain. But he was walking, like albeit tenderly and gingerly, but he was walking without crutches. I mean, that's madness right there. Like, that is awesome to see, and I really hope to see him available week 1. And I think he can do it. Like he said, mind over matter. So go ahead and do it, Brown. Go ahead and do it. But I think that's all I have for this video. Like I said, this was a long video because there was a lot to talk about, a lot going on. I mean, because the regular season is right around the corner. We got one more preseason game, and then the regular season is here. So we're almost there. Preseason, like regular season is maybe, 3 weeks away from today. So we're almost there, guys. And so, yeah, stay tuned. And oh, man, I'm excited. I'm so excited for this season. Regardless how the season ends, I'm excited. So, but if you like the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share for more Seahawks and Seattle sports content. Thank you for stopping by. Have a good day. And go Hawks, go Mariners, and go Kraken.